Buongiorno tutti. I'm Esther.
I'm Alfred reporting live from Sicily today.
Welcome to our channel. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, we're two expats living just outside of Catania in Acitrezza, and we come to you weekly talking about all things Sicilian and all things happening in Italy. And boy, lots happening since September 1st. Since we're taping the show, we're going to talk about that, a little bit of an update also on our buddy Tommaso, our next door neighbor, and we're going to talk about some of the refugees that have landed at the Naval AirBase in Sigonella here in Sicily. And also we had a really nice visit with a friend who's been now first a client, now a good friend in Acitrezza. So let's start with the new information about the travel. You know, it's been a crazy time. But on August 28th, the health minister of Italy signed a new ordinance saying that those coming from the United States, those coming from Canada and Japan, in order not to have to quarantine for 5 days, you must be vaccinated and show a negative test 48 hours before boarding. Also very important, and I've been talking about this, we've been talking about this for months now, you have to have a passenger locator form, which is something you can find on the EU's website. I'll also put a link in the show notes so you guys have that. So that's big. Now in Italy, Alfred, in Sicily, also, if you're coming here as a foreigner or for everyday Sicilians, you're going to have a green certificate, which is basically showing your proof of vaccination to get on airplanes, trains, ferries. School teachers must be vaccinated or have a green pass to go. So lots of changes happening here in Sicily.
Two things. First of all, I've been to several places myself personally, and nobody has asked me for my green pass yet. To be honest, this is just me. Maybe they got to tighten the screws a little bit. I don't know. But number two, I received a nice email from somebody about a week ago that says, Alfred, I really like the fact that you broadcast from the terrace of your house. We feel like we're in Sicily. So guess what, people?
They like to hearing the voices.
They like to hear the ambient noises. In about a half an hour, there's going to be about 20 Sicilian banshees downstairs celebrating a kid's, the worst of them all, 6th birthday. So if you hear any ambient screaming, yelling, and stuff,
enjoy it. It's Sicily.
Welcome to Sicily.
Welcome to Sicily. You get to hear little kids talking. They're so cute, though, Alfred. How can you call them banshees? They're so cute.
I'm so happy that Tommaso is home.
Yeah, so let's give an update on Tommaso, our next door neighbor. They came home on Monday. Tommaso is looking a little pale, and I said, well, Alfred said he's looking a little bit. Well, of course, he's been in the hospital for 15 days. But Elena, I spoke to the mother, and she is just so grateful for everyone's prayers, and she said, please keep praying. So we ask our prayer warriors to pray for Tommaso. That's a big thing. He
still has to go back in
October 15th.
October 15th for a final control. But he was running around today. The father, Andrea, told me he was running around today. And just it's unbelievable, okay? You people, okay, from Facebook.
Yeah.
Somebody sent us €100 or $100. Esther and I, we raised it to €100, and we gave them the money. They didn't want to take it.
Yeah.
And so the only reason they took it is I said, look, the money, it should be for the three kids, because they have 2 others as well. And the other 2 kids, believe me, they were missing their little brother a lot.
Yeah.
So the mother consented, and she's going to buy something for the 3 kids. But, we really had no intention of raising money. We could have probably raised a lot of money.
The point is that they don't need the money,
right?
But it's a
thing of pride too. It's a thing of pride. Really, it's a really.
But really, she said, I don't need money. I just need prayer. So we're calling all our prayer warriors to pray for little Tommaso.
And they realize,
and actually not just Tommaso, but the family, because this has been incredibly cumbersome for the mother.
Andrea must have lost, I think he said he lost about 4 kilos, 4.5 kilos, 10 pounds from stress. And I just saw her.
And she lost some weight.
She's lost some weight too. I mean, it was just the constant worry of the kids. And this poor guy was like juggling everything with the 2 little kids here too.
And the dogs.
And 3 dogs. Okay, so.
All right.
Anyways, everything is okay. So we're very happy about that.
The other thing we want to talk to you a little bit about is the efforts going on in Sigonella Air Force Naval AirBase that is happening right now. And what you're looking at are the Italian Red Cross along with the American Red Cross standing side by side, helping the refugees that arrived. A few thousand arrived to Sigonella Air Base, and one of the commanders who sent a thank you to everyone in Sigonella, not just the men and women who bravely gave up, their service, their sacrifice, but also the volunteers, the family members that have really stepped up to the plate and helped them. So there you go. I kind of like seeing this, Alfred, the Italian Red Cross right next to the American
the Italian businesses,
to see.
People were collecting money, the American expats, and they were going into Italian businesses to buy things like diapers and stuff like that, and water, toothpaste and stuff. So they went into one big market. And the manager said, well, what are you guys going to do with all this stuff? And they said, we're taking it to the base for the Afghan refugees. So they walked out of there with extra cases of, things like diapers, all different size diapers, water, toothpaste, and everything else.
Like so the battery chargers for the chargers. Those are like big need items.
And they're only going to be here. What's happening is they come in groups of about 700. And then they get vetted out, and I think the first group has already left.
Arrived to the United States.
But there's still a couple of 3,000 still over there, and people are working very hard right now. A lot of kids, a lot of women. Females too.
A lot of women.
The reports that I was reading about only Afghan men. That's from what we're seeing. That's really not the truth.
So the other thing is we had a really nice visit today with Dusty Costello and her smart son, Jacob, in Acitrezza, and we had such a good time. The Costellos are the ones that sponsored the video on Isola delle Femmine last year, and I'll leave a link to that as well. And they've just become good friends, and it was a really nice visit. We took them to Acitrezza, and I realized, Alfred, I never got to finish my story about Ulysses and the legend, the Odyssey. So would you guys like to hear the story of the...
Hurry up. Let's make it quick. I'll give you like 20 seconds.
Oh.
Go ahead.
So do you guys know Homer's Odyssey? Ulysses, the famous seafaring captain who came to the shores of Sicily. Of course, he went to a lot of places, but when he came here, Polyphemus, the one-eyed Cyclops, asked him, "Who are you?" when he came with his boat. He said, "Nobody." Well, then the one-eyed Cyclops grabbed everyone, put them on top of Mount Etna into a cave, although there's a story that cave is actually in Milazzo, not on Etna. And Ulysses was so smart, he found some kind of a liquid, a red liquid, which is one of the first times that was noted and written about wine on Sicily. This is during the Greek times, and he gave it to the one-eyed Cyclops. The one-eyed Cyclops got drunk, and Ulysses took the opportunity to blind him with a sword, and they ran away. And while they were running, the one-eyed Cyclops took rocks from Etna or wherever he was, started hurling it at the water, and where Acitrezza is, the Flaglioni, the beautiful volcanic rocks, is where they landed. And when the other Cyclops asked him, "Who did this to you?" guess what he said? I'll give you guys a few seconds. Leave me a note. Do you know what he said? He said, "Nobody."
That's when he said nobody. And you know how they escaped?
I love that.
You know how they escaped? They escaped by grabbing onto the sheep, because the Cyclops had sheep in the cave, and underneath the sheep, him and his men grabbed the sheep, and that's how they got out. Allegedly, it's a great story. This whole area over here is known as the Riviera di Ciclopi, Riviera of the Cyclops, and it's it's a pretty good touristic thing, I think. But the whole story, Homer, that guy Ulysses was a smart little. He was the guy. He was the guy that came up with the whole idea of the Trojan horse for the fall of Troy. But did you know also that the Aeneas, Virgil's Aeneas, was written by a different guy, Virgil, and Aeneas was a Trojan prince who, as legend has it, settled in Sicily as well. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And then later on, emigrated. Him and his crew emigrated up north, And supposedly, allegedly, Romulus and Remus are descendants of Aeneas. So it's kind of all hooked together.
All right, we've got everything for you
History
guys
class-
in this show. We've got
class is
history, we've got
concluded today.
updates. Listen, if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, welcome. Please hit the like button if you're enjoying this. All right, the next item that we need to discuss is we have the shipments have come in.
Well,
of the
wait a minute. Let me
t-shirts.
explain
Go
over
ahead.
here. Okay. First of all, my daughter Jennifer and my two grandkids, I got to ship this stuff. That's number one. Number two, we really weren't expecting them to come into the second half of September.
But they're in.
But not all of them are in. The first 2 crates are in. One more crate is coming in of some embroidered stuff. So I told Jen to wait until everything is there to fill the orders. Now, we got a lot of orders so far.
Yeah, and we're
So-
still taking them.
And we're still taking them. So here's what I'm going to do today in celebration of the fact that they arrived, I guess. Any piece that we sell, t-shirts, hats, v-necks, you name it, buy one and you can take 20% off the second one, because I think that after today's huge sale, we'll begin to have holes in some of the sizes. So if you're contemplating buying anything,
Contact me.
contact Esser, as they say in Sicilian, subito, right away, and place an order.
Subito.
And within 2 or 3 weeks, they'll all be out and about and everything else. So they look great.
Yeah.
And I think you got to love them. Remember, we embroidered most of the stuff with the exception of our t-shirt for men, which we put a three color screen on, which is the best that you can possibly do. So hopefully you guys are going to like them.
Okay. The other thing we did
Tuscany.
this week is we went to the Mercato. We haven't been to the open market in so long. It was nice to get back into the market, and we did a little bit of shopping, and my friend Stefania and I did a little bit of Italian class shopping. So if we have Italian conversations going on, if you guys are interested in that. And basically those are just little videos that we send you links and you can enjoy. But I was struck, Alfred, at the Mercato, at the good sales that they were having, of course, end of year sales. And it was just nice to see a lot of the vendors, unfortunately, were not there. And I don't know if it's because of Ferragosto or what it is, but it was,
Oh, she's watching it.
our neighbor's watching it.
Ask me if I'm happy right now. Say, Alfred, are you happy?
Are you happy? Can we show them? Can we
wait.
show them? Scusa, posso? Sì.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
No, saluta tutti. There's the family. Well, some of them.
We'll
I think
get- we'll
Tommaso,
get-
we'll
yeah.
get a little video. I
We'll
think
get a-
Tommaso is taking a little bit of a
let me
nap.
tell you why I'm happy today.
Okay.
At the Mercato.
Yeah.
Because you can't see because you can only see from my waist up. But I have a brand new pair of
Say it in Italian.
mudandis.
Oh my
on.
God.
Boxes, okay, that actually fit me. All right. There's this one guy that at the Mercato, and I looked at him and I picked them up and I said, wow, these things might fit me. So I bought a couple of pairs about a month ago, but we haven't been able to go back. So I went back there specifically to buy mudandis yesterday because the sizes in Italy are just a joke for men. Okay. For years, I used to have to bring them back for my friends, but they're comfortable. They're made in Albania. And so far they haven't ripped. So I'm very happy, Esther, that we went to the Mercato yesterday.
Sean says, yay for Tommaso. God
Yes.
bless him.
Yep,
We thank
Sean.
you.
And thank you for your prayers, Sean.
Yeah.
I know that you are leading the prayers, and we really appreciate, you pass it on. He's got his own fan group, Facebook, and Sean, we really appreciate what
All the prayers.
all the prayers.
Alfred wants to know, where are you in Sicily? We're in Acitrezza, outside of Catania, really near Acitrezza, Acicastello, in that area. I want to know where everyone is from, who's watching. Where's your family from? Would love to hear that. Thank you, Christina Asaro, very much. Okay, so what else happened here? Oh, you had a nice lunch today.
Hey, let me tell you something. Okay, we went down to my favorite place and her favorite place to meet
Granita.
Dusty. Am I going to talk or you going to
You are.
talk?
Oh, I
Okay.
thought you said my favorite place to have
Anyway,
granita.
Granita, But they had one thing that I had about a year ago. Okay, it was a chicken. What the hell is that thing called?
Kebab.
Chicken kebab. Okay, I haven't had chicken kebab for I don't know how long. Okay, so I've been jonesing a chicken kebab. Okay, it's the thing and that they cook it on the rotisserie and they cut it down. So today, while they were enjoying brioche and granita, I had the best chicken kebab sandwich I've had since the last time I ate at it. I recommend you go to the Eden Bar in Acitrezza. You can't miss it. And what flavor did you have when
the granita there is unbelievable.
It's killer.
Melone and pistachio. I know those two flavors don't necessarily go together, but they were perfect. And
Yeah.
really, and even Dusty is from the other side of the island, Isola della Femmina, from the Palermo area. And even she commented that the granita on this side is very different texture than the granita on the Palermo side.
It's the best around.
Well, it depends on your.
Catania is the best. Period. End of sentence. I had it in
on your
apartments of Siracusa. It's like water. I have it over there in Palermo. In some of those places, they should be arrested for impersonating grenade.
Well, Alfred,
the best
Alfred,
stuff.
let me
or
correct.
Even in Messina is good.
Excuse me.
Wait a minute. Taormina is good. Bamba is very good.
Well, wait a second. I'm
Catania
going to correct
is good.
you about the Palermo thing, okay? Because I don't know the last time you had granita in Palermo, and I've had granita in Palermo, and some places are good, some places are not. Just like over here, some places are good, some places
All
are
right.
not.
Well, hurry up and correct me. I'm getting
No,
irritated.
basta on the Palermo. Back to Sicily, waiting for the latest word on entry requirements to get back to Sicily. Listen, back to Sicily, I spoke about it at first few minutes of the show. So when we're done here, make sure you scroll back. But basically, you will need a vaccination. You will need a negative test 48 hours
or you will, yeah.
And you definitely need a passenger locator.
Listen, they're putting the screws down really tight over here for vaccinations. Okay,
Yeah.
They moved the goalpost for Sicilian people ahead 5%. Now they're putting pressure on for every town to get 75% inoculated. 75%. That's way higher than it is in the States. And they're sending out teams all over the place in all the communities to get them. They are deadly serious here.
In Palermo, they've doubled the vaccination because the vaccination campaign here in Sicily slowed down major in August, obviously because of people vacationing.
Right.
It was too hot. People wanted to go to the beach, not go stand in line.
Right.
But they have definitely stepped up to the plate.
Well, now that the Ferragosto is over, I expect to see. I called it last week too, by the way. I said that they weren't going to screw up the tourist season, but now that Ferragosto is done, you're going to see the hospitalizations maybe in about 7 or 8, 10 days begin to go down as the inoculations go up. Because let's remember, who's getting in these hospitals are the vast majority are unvaccinated. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, that's what they're reporting.
Right. So,
Catherine, I know you're coming here soon regarding new quarantine for unvaccinated visitors. Do you actually have to stay locked in your hotel room, or can you use the hotel ground? I strongly suggest you contact your hotel for that information.
The answer is obviously no. How can you use the grounds if there are other guests there?
Well,
common sense says no.
Elle, let her.
You have to stay in the room.
Elle, contact your.
Okay, but that's a dumb answer.
Huh?
That's not a good answer.
You should contact your hotel.
If you're in a hotel and you have COVID or you're quarantined and you go outside, rest assured they catch you, you're going to get fined. I'll put my neck on a limb for that.
Love Greek mythology and how it all ties to Sicily. I've been doing a lot of research lately about the Curfa caves in Alia in regards to the Greek mythology origins for my book.
Man, if you like Greek mythology, you have to head down to Agrigento. You have to see what happened in the Valley of the Temples in Agrigento, and also what do you suggest on the West Coast.
But we're talking about Greek mythology, and the fact is, Sean, that all over the island there's stories, Greek mythology in Acitrezza. There's that nymph in Ortigia, full of mythology and stories like that. Dusty Costello, thank you so much for a wonderful visit. We enjoyed. Did you hear me? I spoke all about you guys, and I finished that story
what a nice lady
that I didn't get to finish about the one-eyed Cyclops.
Nice
So,
family. Mike Costello had to stay behind. They just launched, her husband, they launched a new business. And on behalf of the entire the Yumi and Sicily family, we wish the Costellos good luck opening up a new business. I'm very happy to hear that. And the kid is a wonderful kid.
Elena, yes, Sicily is open
Definitely.
for tourists. I'm not sure where you're coming from, but Americans, Canadians, and Japanese, you also have to be vaccinated and also have your negative test before you arrive.
True.
All right. How long have you been living in Sicily? You go first.
Okay. I first came over here in 1996, excuse me, and I decided that this is where I wanted to be. So it took me 10 years to wind down my law practice and my teaching responsibilities because I was a law school professor and a practicing attorney in Massachusetts. And little by little, I ended up coming here. And then finally, I've been here, I think, I don't know how many years now. We just go home very infrequently. She just went home for 3 weeks, right? Was it 3 weeks? For the first time in how long?
2 years, 2.5 years.
2.5 years. I haven't been home yet.
Yeah.
If the Lord wants and grants me, good health to get on a plane, I plan on going home in November for a couple of weeks. But this is our home. This is where we live.
So the first time I came here was in 2014, and I was going to stay just for a month to do 5 or 6 videos of Yumi and Sicily. And here we are 7 years later and over 200 videos later, and I'm still here and I'm still not done with Sicily. So, the first few years, Alfred was still teaching at the law school. So we would spend 5 months over there and 7 months here. And it was in 2016 that we made the move completely to be here.
Yep. My biggest regret is that I didn't do it earlier in life, but that's how things go. Okay. So we both enjoy it here a lot. And, it's helped our souls and it's helped our spirits. I think we're much more spiritual here. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure.
And probably we're healthier too because of the food situation. just great.
Sue, I'm going to tell you a secret. Shh, don't tell anyone. See this dress? It's really cute, isn't it? At the Mercato. Shh, don't tell.
Okay.
Made in Italy.
Tell
Made
them
in Italy.
how much did it cost you?
Made in Italy.
How
But
much
it was on sale.
How much?
20.
20, that's $23 American dollars for a dress that you'll get at least 3 or 4
But
summers.
it's so cute.
These things
it's
are
so
indestructible.
It's so
she
comfortable.
has about 20 of them.
Yeah.
Right? And she wears some not around the house, but anytime she puts one on, like they don't fade, they don't do anything. They're just great. This Mercato, I'm telling you right now, is a great place to go.
Nice to see people from South Africa, Città del Capo. We will be in Italy later this month. I mentioned for the annual PIF
Accordion Festival.
Cool.
Wow, that sounds cool.
All right, I want to take a second and welcome all our viewers on YouTube, on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button. And if you have any questions for us, leave them in the chat. We're happy to answer. I know there's a lot of questions about traveling to Italy starting September 1st. Things are changing. But listen, everything is reevaluated every 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens. Alfio, did you hear me talk about Acitrezza? Cafe de Solari
That's
was
right
my
next
hangout
door.
when I was visiting.
Great place still. It's still a terrific. That's right next door to Eden Bar. And by the way, today, Alfio, what I did was on the way to Eden Bar, they have a memorial on the Lungomare where that gal from Tricastani, whose last name was Zappala, was assassinated by her crazy boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who had been stalking her.
Beautiful memorial.
And there's a beautiful memorial there, a big mountain of roses and stuff.
Pictures of her and
this
prayers.
Captivated, this killing, captivated all of Sicily last week. And it happens to be from my ancestral town. Her family from Tricastani. And for those of you who know Tricastani, when they had her funeral just a few days ago, there were so many people at her funeral. They had to bring the casket out and put it in front of the Sant'Alfio Piazza. there must have been 8,000 people there.
Yeah, a few
And-
hundred. Yeah,
What?
there were a few hundred people there
there
for
was
sure.
more than
Oh,
that.
a few hundred is what
Is
the
that what it said? A few hundred?
few hundred.
I exaggerate. But anyways, to me, I was counting by fives. Anyways, there was a lot of people there.
Yeah,
But
and
the
we
most
said a
important
prayer.
thing is that the whole topic of violence against women is now at the forefront. You know, when I first came here 20 years ago, no one ever talked about violence against women.
And
It
it's
was
in the
never in the
papers all the
paper.
time now.
Now it's
all
like,
the time.
and I think the young
Good,
people
it's
are
about
really, yeah, I
time.
mean,
It's
really,
about time.
really,
Honestly, it's
I
about
agree
time.
100%. I agree 100%.
Okay, we are flying from California
San Luis Obispo
and have 49 days booked in Dona Lucata starting
in
February.
February.
My 62nd birthday. Hotel suggestions in Catania for 4 nights. I
What?
do have a
I have
place.
one.
I do have a place just outside of Catania, really near us. And if you would email me or send me a message at the residence, and then you have a suggestion in downtown Catania,
In Catania, you could stay at the Sheraton Four Corners. It's really not.
Acitrezza.
It's really, I know, but it's if you have to look at it, it says Catania when you look at the Sheraton. They consider that to be Catania, but it's really in Acitrezza.
Right.
The Four Corners, it's called. Okay, that's a good one. The Residence, of course, is our preferred location because they are our friends we love very much over here. And the place that Bernie stayed in, Susan, the
Via Verde.
Baia Verde in
Mhm.
Acitrezza. Those
Yeah.
are three good places.
I
There are
don't.
a
I
million
really
places.
don't suggest. I mean, staying in Catania is great, but if you go to some of the suburbs, it's beautiful. It's a little bit calmer. So
Green.
it's green. Susan Peterson is going to be in Sicily. Will we get to meet up? Let's talk
Only
about
if you
that.
wear your lemon dress. Her mother, and her sister have these lemon dresses.
And me, we all wore it
She
together.
bought a new one because she knew you guys were coming. So now we have 4 people that are going to wear lemon dresses. Am I right? You have a lemon dress.
I'm today.
We have lemon everything.
You get an A+ for exaggeration. Okay, let's see here. The other thing I was going to say is that we're going to be starting our tours next week, so I'm really excited about that. Of course, we're going to still keep coming to you guys live, but it's the first time in 2 years that we'll be starting tours, so we're very excited. And of course, then we have our October tour, and we're gearing up for a great Christmas tour.
We
so
already
I'm excited
have
about that.
4 people coming for the Christmas tour, which is really my favorite one. The other 2 was like sold out. One of them was a private group of I don't know how many, 12, 13. And then our October group is sold out. And I just told Esther, I gave Esther all the marching orders because I'm the guy that gives her the marching orders for our tours next year. So look online in a couple
I need
weeks.
more of this. Chin chin. Can I call you?
Our May tour will be posted next. We're going to be doing a May tour here like we do every year. We'll do a June tour over on the West Coast. So Chris Leone, our ace lady that does our internet, is going to be working on all that stuff too. So, we're up and operational, and I hope things are okay for now.
No kidding. Dave, nice to see Dave here. I gave him the vineyards. He was asking our last video chat about some vineyards in the Siracusa Noto area, and he enjoyed a Mistretta episode, and he'll be here in a couple of weeks. Does Gaetano Russo, who by the way is one of the only, if not the only, actual human being UNESCO World Heritage treasure, because of the work that he's been doing with ceramics, with rocks and so forth in Mistretta. And does Gaetano have a workshop open to visitors? I'm not sure about that. I know all of his stuff is displayed all over Mistretta, and I'm friends with him on Facebook, and we've seen him since then. So if you want, I will definitely send him a message.
Question. I'm also friends with him too. The guy does terrific work. He's the nicest guy in the world. And, our friend Joe Renda.
That's exactly right.
Who was the sponsor of that piece. That was a good find on Joel Render's part, suggesting that we go over there to Mistretta. I would have never gone
Boy,
there.
remember my walk up to
Oh
the
my
castle?
God.
I mean, like everywhere, castles are a little bit up higher, but this was a hike. It was like up a mountain, but it was such a beautiful place, the Castello of Mistretta, because you get a panorama of the whole town. And the houses there, the tops of houses were made out of red rock, which was very unusual, very interesting. Red tiles, excuse me, red tiles. Very interesting, but a beautiful view also of the field and the valley. And of course, all these castles were strategically placed in certain sections of Sicily. So people, whoever the conqueror was, could keep an eye out on the invaders. But that's such a beautiful area to go up there. And the streets are all narrow. The streets are all old. You're going to have a great town.
Now I'm going to tell you what really happened that day. It was a very hot day. And I looked at that castle way up there. And I said to Esther, I tell you what, I'm going to wait at the bar. You can go up with that billy goat. She was with a guy that was like a billy goat, right? So she got out. So she went up.
With my camera.
With her camera.
Camera
right?
rods.
And you would not believe how high up it was. And what happened was
I went a little too
cramped
fast.
up.
On the
Coming
way down.
On the way down, she cramped up.
I did.
And she started to walk towards me, and I'm at the bar, just relaxing myself. She was like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. She was going, remember that? I was like, what? I was shocked, as they say. I was shocked. She got dehydrated, is what
probably.
happened.
Okay, listen.
Wait a minute. Before
Catherine,
you take another question.
I have to answer this.
All right,
okay?
then I have one more.
Catherine, we have plenty of time. You don't have to one more.
Okay.
What about if I rent the house? First of all, yes, grocery deliveries are done.
Do that.
The restaurants deliver. I mean, we have a bunch of places near us that also deliver.
That you can do.
Catherine, private message me about that. Can I just say something about Catherine? If you can see, she has a little S next to her name.
Subscriber.
She's a Sicily lover because that means that she is. She supports us through our community on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube and you next to the subscribe, there's a join button, and it's one way of supporting us for $1.99 a month, and also have a lot of behind the scenes and fun stuff to talk about.
Can I talk now?
I mean, fun stuff, additional stuff.
I'm halfway through my 5th book, and it's an Esther book. It's on the gallivantings of Esther. And I'm going to tell you my all-time favorite one. If you just give me a minute.
Wait, what do you say? Wait, a gallivanting Esther?
Gallivanting of Esther. Just Esther, okay? It's going to be my Esther book. But I'll never forget this as long as I live. About 5 years ago, one day we went to Via Grande. They had a beautiful swimming pool there, okay? On the grounds of a former nunnery, okay? Mm-hmm. Which I actually stayed there because they turned it into a hotel. So I'm lounging around by the pool, and in the distance, I see a stairway. It looked like the stairway to heaven, okay? So I asked the guy, I says, where does that stairway go? And he says, that was an ancient Roman pathway. And by the pathway, I'm talking about maybe 3 feet wide, but it went up forever. So Esther looked at it, and she says, honey, I'm going to go up there. Maybe I can get some video. I says, okay, I'm going to stay at the pool. So, of course, I'm at the pool. I have I don't know what I was drinking that day. Half an hour goes by, hour goes by, an hour and a half go by. So now I'm like, okay, something happened to Esther, right? So as I start to gather a rescue party together, Esther stumbles into the pool area. I says, honey, where were you? She says, Alfred, when I got up there, the stairs were so narrow. When I went to go down, I got afraid to walk down the stairs.
Oh my God.
So I went on my bum, by stair.
Okay, all right, guys. All right, so I'm not even going to bore you with the real story. Just enjoy, just enjoy this embellished story.
And I'm going to go back. Greatest adventures of you,
honey. I love your storytelling. I mean, Wait, today with Dusty, what did I say? Baloney. How did we even come up with baloney? I said, Alfred, you're full.
Baloney?
I said, you're full of baloney.
Yeah.
And we were
I
thinking,
wonder
where
that
did we
came
come from?
That's what we were talking. Where did that come from? Well,
John Bremer, nice to see you here. What is your favorite cornetto filling? I like crema or fresh ricotta. They also have, by the way, they also have the
Nocciola
pistachio. They
Yeah.
have the nocciola, which is hazelnut. What's yours, Alfred? They also have, they have the
I like the
Nutella.
crema the best. They have
the
chocolate,
Nutella.
crema, nocciola, marmalade, pistachio crema. There's at least 5, but when I get them, I haven't had one in a long time. You have to admit
You
that.
haven't had that.
I would say I like the crema when it's warm. Oh, that warm cream and it's like a croissant, except it's really not a croissant. It's a little bit more doughy than a croissant. At one point in one of my books, I actually wrote the story of the croissant versus it. Remember the story?
Croissant versus cornetti. In fact, we talked about it.
Yeah, and we did a piece on it. We did
where
a piece
I made
on
cornetti from scratch. Jennifer Rose is here. What can you say? We're the limoncello girls.
There's another one too. Jennifer's here today too. How about Sue? Is your mom here?
She was the one that was.
I thought that was Pam.
Anthony just came on. So let me just go real quick in case you're joining us now. You weren't here at the beginning. That starting September 1st, those arriving from the United States, Canada, and Japan must have vaccination proof of COVID test, negative test, 48 hours before boarding. Also, a passenger locator form. I had someone arriving here today, and he had no problem. So September 1st, this is when the regulations go into effect. And the other thing is that you'll have to have a green pass if you want to travel within Italy on planes, trains, and I'm talking about high-speed trains, not just like your local stuff.
Yeah.
So interesting times.
Last week we reported that Alitalia is no longer going to be flying. I think when is it by the end of
October? So if you're flying Alitalia after October 15th, they're not even selling tickets, and in fact, they are canceling a lot of flights, and there's a new company that is sort of buying a few of its fleets, and we'll see what it is. Air Ita, it's called. So we're still, their website is up, and I guess people have said that there are some tickets for sale, but we're still waiting to hear.
One tip, okay? If you're coming here in October and you haven't yet booked an automobile, rented a car, I would suggest do it as soon as you possibly can, because there is an inventory shortage of automobiles, okay?
Huge problem.
Now, here's a secret. If you can't find them at the airport, look up online auto rental companies outside the airport. You may be able to find some in one of the local towns like Acitrezza or downtown Catania, to rent a car. Just but don't wait till the last minute, or else you're going to be using a horse and buggy. It's very important. Although Dusty and her son came here, they didn't even rent a car. They didn't seem to have a problem.
No, they took the train.
They're doing trains and they're doing buses, and
then taking the taxi.
She couldn't believe how beautiful the train station was.
Buonasera. There's Francesco. It's busy here. Good evening, he says. Ciao. Tutto bene? Ciao.
Wow, you're seeing everybody. Francesco on the left. Tommaso
and can you believe this, you guys, that we were without any neighbors for several months?
No, we're Francesco.
Well, yeah. Don't call kids banshee. That's not nice. Listen, Sean, I have a book from you. For you, Jim Ingram just sent it to me. Myths, Legends, and Customs in Greek and Roman Sicily by Salvatore Fumari. So I will send that to you.
Is Jim Ingram online?
He's right here. Yeah.
Jay, listen to this. Jimmy Ingram, one of our dear friends. He was stationed at Sigonella. He's coming to Sicily, I think, Monday, and he's going to be staying with us for a little while.
Yeah.
And he's going to be Esther's assistant. No matter what Esther does, James and Esther. So you know what that means for me? That means I can go in my bed, put on my headphones, and contemplate the meaning of life. Thanks to my pal, Jimmy.
You guys, I swear to God, he didn't drink before this.
No,
I mean,
don't-
I don't even know that story about the pool. That wasn't exactly like that. But
Why?
okay,
It was a
but
pretty good
it was
story
pretty
like that. It was a
nice
pretty
to
good
see our
story.
friend Laszlo here escape to Sicily. So we've got a lot of people
That's
here.
very good. The marmalata, the albicocchi. Did I say that? Apricot?
Apricot.
No,
Yes.
no, you don't say apricot. You don't
I
say
didn't
that.
say it's my
Albicot. So funny today.
Carlene, yes, the
Yes.
CDC, because so the green certificate is a EU thing. You can't get a green certificate because you have to go online, but your your identity card, your identity number in there, and several other things. But if you do have your CDC, and by the way, this is something else, I suggest that you have multiple copies of your CDC card. Not only one that's, in some kind of a plastic form, have it on your phone, take a picture of it,
True.
send it to your hotel or wherever you're staying.
True.
In case you lose it, they can print it out.
Yeah.
For example, the group that I have coming in, 13 people from North Carolina and California, I had them all email it to me. So, and the other thing I want to report that because there's so much confusion over this and people don't understanding, blah, 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 I have had one report out of all the people that are here from the United States, and we have several here, that one restaurant didn't understand what the CDC card was. But otherwise, there's been no problem at all.
They're going to let them in. I'm telling you right now, they're going to want your tourist dollar. I think maybe if the numbers aren't improved by the end of October, they'll tighten it down. But there's
we'll
too
see.
many people right now, depending on the next 2 months. June, July, and August were banner months here.
Over 2 million
people,
in June
right?
and July, and that does not include the August.
Sicily is getting off the ground. Okay, and by the way, where did I read that? Was it Amazon? There's going to be creating some jobs in Palermo.
Yeah.
I think it was having a distribution point, not a big one, a few hundred jobs, but there aren't any jobs here. So when someone comes in here for a few hundred jobs, believe me, it makes the front page of the papers.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Just remember, Alfred, Esther's Italian is better than your Hungarian.
Peter, her Italian is better than mine. Her English is better than mine.
No, it's
She's
not.
hitting a
Stop
trifecta
it.
today. I'm telling you, right?
Stop
I don't speak
it.
Italian. I am Sicilian dialect, so I like the Sicilian dialect. And we were just talking about that with her Italian teacher over here. They came over, delightful woman.
Yeah, Rosalba.
And, that's it. If someone doesn't understand me, tough luck. That's how I feel about it. I can understand the most important thing is that I can understand myself. Sometimes I don't.
Hey, listen, I want to say thank you.
What did I say?
Listen, I want to say thank you to our friends, our fans on YouTube, on Facebook for spending this little time with us. We really appreciate it. It's really a pleasure for us to come to you every week. It's really fun for us, but we appreciate you giving your time to us.
It breaks the stress for us.
Sean,
it breaks the stress for us. It really does. And after the show, she gets bombed with hundreds of emails.
Hundreds of emails. Stop.
Okay. Meanwhile, I don't.
Oh, you will after you will hear it.
No, I'm
Listen,
in charge.
Martha
I'm in
Perry,
charge.
So let me tell you about the Mercato. Okay, so every town on a certain day of the week has an open air market.
Every town, right.
Ours in San Antonio is on Monday, whereas other towns have it on different days. I think in Tre Castagni is on Thursday. So you just go and find out. Now, this Mercato, there are also other Mercatos, for example, in downtown Catania that are all open every single day. The one, it's different now. It's just different.
All they sell is like cell phone things. They sell cheap
clothes. Hell, no, they don't.
This is the best one I've ever been to.
They have hats, they have shoes, they have all types of. There's 2 Mercatos in Catania.
Okay.
We've only been to the one.
We bring our group to this one over here, and they love it, and people buy a lot. We buy our fresh fruits and vegetables there.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but I spent €6 to €7 on fresh fruits. Monday, I came back with these delicious plums, a big sack of grapes, a bunch of peaches. She bought a look. What? What are you laughing at? Throat punch. You know, we're just goofing around.
No kidding, right? That's what I said, Nancy.
Wednesday.
See,
Hump
you know
day.
what?
Today's
Nothing.
hump day,
So this
right?
this is what I'm drinking too.
No,
No, so
what do you want me to do? You want me to be in a bad mood?
Sean Lewis asked about. He didn't understand. You are a Sicily lover already, Sean, because you are already subscribed and already a member. So thank you.
Sean's a great guy.
much.
At some point in time, we're gonna make that. Oh, I have one more thing to talk about. Today's September 1st, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Guy, Giovanni Lanza is the president of the Sicilian Project. If you could, please write this website down: www.thesicilianproject.com. Thesicilianproject.com. That's our educational thing that we've been educating people for years. Over 1,200
Free of
kids.
charge for Sicilians.
1,200 kids free of charge, okay, since we started. English, the joys of English. However, because of COVID, we kind of switched gears, and we've been giving out grants to worthy charities all over Sicily.
Yeah.
So Giovanni and I and Esther and members of the executive committee decided that we're not going to do classes again for the fall, and we're going to do another series of grants to worthy charities. Okay, we just gave €1,000 to two places in Acitrezza, for example. We've given money to a whole bunch of places this year. And we
Sola
just
della Femmina, Ciapalu, several places.
Montreal, Palermo,
Bagheria,
Father Mario over here in
Catania.
Catania. But anyways, so we've decided we're going to try to raise €8,000 for our Christmas giving, which we like to release the funds on right around Thanksgiving. So if you have a chance and you have $50 or $25 or whatever it is, $10 that you'd like to donate, the money goes right to legitimate charities that we have vetted out, okay? And the Sicilian Project is a 501c3 tax exempt organization in the United States. So when you make a donation to them, you can write it off as a charitable contribution.
Yeah.
www.
Listen, I'll put a link on the show notes. I'll put a link.
Yeah.
This question is for you, Alfred. Is it difficult to get a partial year lease? My wife's roots are in Abruzzo, and the area is beautiful. Of course, I'm Sicilian. Buying property wouldn't work for us. Splitting time.
Hey, Tony, it depends on how long you're talking about. So let me know how long you're talking about. If you're going to do 3 months, a short-term lease, you're not going to be used that to establish residency. If you want to become a resident and get a resident card, for example, the minimum that you can possibly get away with, minimum, is a 1-year lease with a 1-year option. And they don't even like that. A typical lease over here is either 2 years with a 2-year option, or the preferred lease in Italy is a 4-year lease with like we have now, 4-year lease with a 4-year option. Short-term places of a month or two, I would suggest. She's got a whole bunch of places that you can go. What's the places?
We have a bunch of places. So Tony,
let us know what your specifics are. If we can help you, we'll try to help.
Again,
you.
Tony is also a Sicily lover member.
See, that's the little S there,
yeah.
right?
Alfio, our friend from Acitrezza, says, I just got off the phone with the mayor of Aci Castello and Aci villages. He's watching you. Awesome. I asked him to see if you can get together. I told him what a wonderful job you all doing promoting Sicily, Acitrezza area. Speak to him in Sicilian, Alfred.
Alfio, I'll tell you what you got to do. Get back on the horn and talk to the mayor. Call him up the next time you talk to him. Tell him to find a worthy charity in Aci Castello, okay? Something legitimate, okay? And on behalf of the Sicilian Project, we will make a donation to that charity. Okay, so I'm going to put that on you. You're in charge of doing that. And by the way, if you also want to, because you know a lot of people in Acitrezza, do the same thing in Acitrezza.
Well, it's the same community.
Well, no, we have Acitrezza on one side in
Aci Castello.
Yeah, we'll be happy to make donations there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put you in charge of that, okay, Alfio, because you're a good guy and you love Aci Castello, Acitrezza. So get on the horn and then just let you call us up all the time.
And you know, like I was telling Dusty today, I've been to Acitrezza and Castello a million times, and it never ceases to
We were
amaze
just there
me,
today.
and never ceases to amaze me. Never that wow of how beautiful it is, and I call it my little village. I go down there. I know a lot of people. It's very beautiful. It's very small. It's very quaint. The church is, a very simple but elegant church. I love the Festas de San Giovanni Battista, which is one of my favorites. It's very small, but nonetheless very spiritual. So I just love.
I don't know who the
Acitrezza.
mayor is of Aci Costello. I do not know, but I'll
He
tell
has
you
the
one
name.
thing.
He put the name
Okay,
somewhere.
I don't know. And
Mhm.
I want to say one thing is today, both Acitrezza and Aci Costello were very clean.
Very.
I made a mental note.
You know why?
Because of the administration.
Sicilia Plastica. It's an organization I've talked to you guys about for several months now. They're in a nonprofit, and they set up these volunteers all over Sicily, and it's written right there on the boardwalk in the Lungomare, cleaned by Sicilia Plastica.
This is a good thing.
It's a very good
thing.
But
I also know that the administration must be doing a good job if there's no garbage on the side streets. Okay.
True.
We were just talking about that with Dusty. She was telling us how disappointed she was in Isola, right? That there's garbage there.
No, in Palermo.
In Palermo, that there's still garbage there.
But
They do a good job over here.
She did comment about that. Listen, there's a birthday party that's going to be happening here in just about 9 minutes.
If it gets any louder, I'll just throw like a bucket of water on them just to calm them down. No, it's good to have these kids over here. It makes, and I was telling this to Esther, when these children moved in downstairs and next door, it made our condo into like a home.
Yeah.
Okay, to hear the ambient noises of the kids,
I love that.
Joyfully running around, talking in Italian. It's something that you don't experience in the United States, that's for sure.
No, and it's so nice.
Yeah, Francesco,
it is so nice.
Every single night when he comes home from work, every night
around 6:30, we're like, and if he comes like at 7, we're both like, where's Francesco?
Yeah,
He's late.
He comes out, he greets us.
Yeah.
We have brief conversation about the weather. It's almost the same conversation
Well, it's
every
the same
night.
conversation you have. I have other conversations.
Right,
with
I
him.
don't because I'm a very
Stop.
I have the same conversation. I like talking about the same thing, okay? How's the weather?
Honey.
Did you work hard? You look good. Where are you going this weekend? I can't talk to him about the Red Sox or sports, so I just general stuff. And
I like to
the
talk to
people
him
next
about
door-
politics, to be
Yeah.
quite honest with you, because him and
What?
I agree on some of the Italian politics, about world things. Him and I talk about
You do?
shit like that. But I
Did
gotta
you just say shit like?
yeah, I
she
did.
just.
Wait a
she just
second.
said
I gotta
shit like
show you
that.
guys this,
All right.
okay?
Don't
Because
go down.
it is super beautiful right now.
Calabria. You can see Calabria.
You can see Calabria and Taormina. I mean, the sun is hitting in a way that is just beautiful. And some of you guys ask, well, why don't we turn the computer around and do the video the other way? Guess why? Because we can't, because the light is too strong. And
It'll white us out.
It'll light us out.
This is what living in Sicily is all about. Frankly, it took me a long time to organize it. This is the 4th place I've had. Okay, I bought my first house, I bought my second house, and then the last 2 I've decided long-term leases. But I vetted this area out very thoroughly, and that's how you have to do it. You can't buy a place online. I think that's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly.
If you find some picture that you really like and you buy a place, that's where the problems come. You have to come here, go around Sicily, figure out where because your needs and my needs may be different. You may have kids. You may want to find a job. For me, it's like this was perfect. This was our little
Or
island.
you
over
may
here.
enjoy the simpler life.
Yep. I want to view. I'm a water person. I'm a Cancer. I like looking at the water. This table that I'm on right now, that we're on, that we broadcast from, this is my office. This is my
Think about
office. All right?
Carol says, so you can get a lease before a resident card.
You have to have a lease in order to get a resident card. You have to have your codice fiscale, your fiscal code.
Which they can explain to them how they can get that.
that's a different discussion. You can get anybody can get a fiscal code, even in the United States of America, online at your local consulate.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like the tax number. That's the ground zero. Everything bills from your fiscal code. You have to have that. Then you can't just come here and buy a house. You either have to have a visa or you have to be a dual citizen. Okay, and there's a bazillion types of visas that I've gone over on previous
Yeah.
things that we've done. Then after that, you start the process, including you have to open up a bank account here, which from what I understand is a pain in the butt. It was a pain in the butt for her, but it may be getting easier. So when you have all your stuff together, and if you don't have insurance, you could have evidence of insurance, health insurance that is, then you apply for your resident card.
But the short answer to her question is you just need a codice fiscale.
That's where to start. Yeah.
That's where you.
You also
she just
needed-
wanted to know about
Yeah.
renting, not about getting residence, about renting.
Oh, okay. To rent, yeah.
I want to know where everyone is watching from. If you're watching us on Facebook and YouTube, welcome. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. And thank you for being here. Dual citizen already, codice. Just
good.
didn't know order of residence card.
No, you
Thank
don't order. You don't order
No.
a residence card. You have to physically come here and go.
I
Make
think
an
she was
appointment.
talking about the order, which one came
Oh,
first.
okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
You have
she
to
was-
go if you do want a resident card, you have to go to the town hall. Okay, and make sure that lease is registered. It has to be a registered lease. It can't just be a piece of paper that some guy put together.
Yeah.
They've really tightened down the requirements.
Yeah. Jody DeLuca is here, and she's going to be coming here
she'll be here
shortly
pretty
too.
soon.
We've got a lot of friends coming here. Very exciting. If you're just joining us late, never late actually. If you're just joining us here live, I talked about the new rules that went into effect on September 1st that Canada, United States, and Japan, in order to avoid a quarantine, you have to have a vaccination. You have to have a negative test 48 hours before, and your passenger locator. Italy is open to Americans. If you don't have any of those, or if you don't have actually your vaccination, you will have to quarantine for 5 days. Okay. Alfred, I'm a big football fan. Do you keep up with the latest football? What's up with the Sicilian Series A team? Maybe one day Palermo will move to a Series A again.
First of all, there is no Series A teams in Sicily. You've got Series C. Okay. At one time, both Palermo and Catania were Series A, but because of financial reasons and Catania's case scandal, they lost that status, and now Sicily really, Catania really has a financial problem.
Yeah.
Allegedly, they got to have football, which is really soccer, we call it in the States here. But they have, every town has wonderful amateur soccer, okay, where people go crazy. And come time when it's the World Cup, forget about it. Italy and Sicily stop. Everybody is glued to the TV. When we just had the European Championships back in June, it was unbelievable. Now the World Cup qualifiers are going to be starting. When you look at the newspaper, you have the first 3 pages of news. Then you have like 6 pages of sports every day.
Well, especially the front page, especially online on Saturdays and Sunday, all sports. But
All
I love
sports.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I love also that the kids, we often go to Castello or Acitrezza, and they're in the little parks. All the kids play football. So, at a young age, they start here playing with their friends at a very young age.
Schools all over the place. You go to soccer school here. Every town has got multiple soccer schools.
Yeah.
Kids go to girls and boys go to soccer schools. That's why Italian soccer is so successful. Competitively, it's so successful.
start
Like
young.
English soccer,
They start young.
it's ingrained in your DNA when you're a little kid. American football, which I had the opportunity to be a general manager of the team here in Sicily, we've got wonderfully dedicated people who play that, but it's dwarfed by soccer, and it's also even dwarfed by rugby. Rugby is a huge sport here for a contact sport.
Yeah.
But American football is doing better. Okay, the Italian national team, coached by Dave Giuliano, a good pal of mine, is another in the semifinals in the European Championships, and a lot of the European teams, Germany especially, has multiple leagues playing American-style football.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean,
It's
I think
really
that's
interesting to
fascinating.
watch it.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, thanks for being here. Hit the like button, and we'll see you on another video. View me in Sicily. Arrivederci.
Thanks for coming today. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you on Sunday. Sabenediga.
Ciao.
Ciao.